All right, welcome back to Radio Wasteland. Tonight we're going to talk about something that, a lot of people like to kvetch and complain about, and I personally find it all to be quite ridiculous. But we're going to talk about generations, specifically the battle between the millennial and the boomer that seems to be going on right now. Personally, I'm Generation X, so I'm like in between. My mom was the silent generation, so she was before.
Right.
Your parents, Kara, would be boomers.
Yes.
And you would be a millennial.
I would be, yes.
Yeah.
And, today's teenagers and like early 20-year-olds are Gen Z.
Right. So, and for anybody out there wondering, Gen Y and millennial are synonymous.
The same thing. Yeah.
Right. I guess a great place to start. Well, let's explain to people. Boomers passed through childhood as television took hold. Generation X saw computers come onto the scene, and millennials were born into the age of the internet. Although it is some variation depending on birth years that comprise the baby boomer generation, it is widely accepted range is 1946 to 1964. Millennials, Gen Y, early 80s. But the general years they tend to go with is 1981 to 1996.
That's for millennials?
For millennials.
Oh, wow, really? That's earlier than I thought.
Yeah, well, me too, because Generation X, apparently I'm at the tail end of it, and I thought I was kind of like deep in the heart of it. But
I would have thought like, sort of late 80s. My brother's 89, but I guess a lot of my friends who are like a little older than me born in the 80s. And so, yeah, that makes sense.
Your old friends.
My old friends, yeah.
Yeah.
Some of them are like 35.
Oh my God.
I know. Can you imagine?
That means their brain fell out of the side of their head like, what, 10 years ago?
They've seen empires rise and fall. They've heard when they were young, the sun was twice as bright as it is now. It's been dimming.
Yeah, and gravity has changed because apparently people used to have to walk both ways uphill in the snow to school. So
yeah, but it was well after when the world turned from black and white to color. So.
Right, and the talkies, the talkies,
yeah, when people invented talking.
So I'm kind of off the hook on this one. I jokingly refer to myself as the last baby boomer because my parents.
Is that the new Star Wars movie?
Yeah, totally. My parents were so much older than me. Had they had kids in even a relative normal range, I would have been a baby boomer.
Right.
But my parents were 40, and so I was 76. I'm just outside of that. And I also like to think of myself, because I'm so ineffectual, pointless, selfish, and into cartoons, I like to think of myself as an early millennial. Okay, so here's the real question. Seeing how you're on the hook for half of this, at least.
Sure, yeah.
How do you feel when people talk all this smack about millennials? And I think a better question would be, how did you feel at first? I think now we're probably a little desensitized to it.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever like really felt like offended on behalf of my peer group. Like, I don't care. I have no connection to my fellow man. They can do whatever they want. So,
a millennial of you.
Yeah, exactly. Your words cannot hurt me because I care about nothing.
Right.
Kind of thing. So
just don't post it on my Twitter profile because that'll hurt my feelings. But
yeah, that's true. Anyway, so I guess I felt nothing particularly about that, but I do think there's some annoying historical context. I think a lot of the ladders that allowed baby boomers to get so successful economically were basically pulled up during the Reagan era. But is that baby boomers' fault? No, not really. Baby boomers would have been 20s to 30s then. They weren't responsible for putting Reagan in office. That was the generations before them, which are, largely very old or dead now. So
the greatest generation in the silent generation.
Yeah, I think more the silent generation probably was really instrumental in putting Reagan in office, and I think he, was largely responsible for the hellscape in which, millennials have grown up. But yeah,
little poetic light.
Casey Yanard's gonna love that, I'm sure.
Right.
So, I think we grew up during different times, but also I feel I've never thought much of it, just because every generation complains about how the teenagers and 20-year-olds of their day are feckless and irresponsible, which I think is typically a result of being teenagers and 20-year-olds.
Right. Yeah.
I think so. Every generation, the baby boomers certainly weren't immune to that. They were the OG civil rights protesters. Well, the younger generation of civil rights protesters, obviously. MLK wasn't a baby boomer. Like, the leaders of the protests and stuff were older than that, but they were protesting the Vietnam War. So, and people got mad at them about that. So, I'm not.
Well, what do you think? Do you think that this current situation is coming more to a head, or do you think we're just feeling like it is? Because, I posted online. Everybody posts online, hey, I got the vaccine. I got the vaccine. Woohoo, I voted. It's like I voted. Only you know what side you're on. It's like if people were to wear stickers that said I voted Democrat. That's what getting the vaccine's like at this point. And so I posted online. I thought it was real funny because of my dad humor. I said, guess who has 2 thumbs and just got the vaccination? Not this guy, because the vaccine made my thumbs fall off. And of course, I think it's super funny. But I get some comments on there. And one comment is from somebody, I'm not sure who I know them. We tried to research if I knew this person, but we weren't able to real quick. He posts on there like, ew, why would you put that poison in your, and gives a bunch of like hateful faces and stuff. And I mean, I'm obviously mocking both sides of this thing, right? And so he puts up all these hateful faces, and then he, and I go to see who this is. Okay, well, maybe. And I can't find him. So he immediately posted this stuff on my comment and then unfriended me and blocked me. I didn't say anything back yet. I mean, I would have, but it would have been as snarky as the initial comment. And, he just immediately, so do you, I guess my point is, do you think we all feel like this divide is something more than it has been in the past? But you seem to be saying like, man, screw it. It's always like this.
Well, no, I think it's more. I just think the reasons for deepening partisanship in this country are largely not generational. I think the generational component, obviously it's there, but I think that hasn't changed very much, in the sense that younger generations are, I think today, more progressive than older generations to about the same degree that younger generations are always more progressive than older generations. I think the reason we're so divided has a lot more to do with, media and social media and just sort of changes in the way our government and economy works and that kind of thing. And so I don't think the big culprit really is differences in age groups.
No, of course it wouldn't be any different without outside variables.
Right. Exactly.
Of course, that's why, unless humans have we've evolved to the point where we fight over nothing, it's like, why would we be there without outside variables, but I guess well, let's ask the question and try to be objective, and I'll try to be objective too. Although you're going to have to try harder.
That's fair.
Well, it is fair, because are the things that boomers say about millennials true?
Well, what do boomers say about millennials?
Well, that you're feckless, and you obviously know some of it.
I mean,
are you guys lazy? Are you non-motivated? Are you stupid and easily confused when it comes to working at the office? I don't know any of these things. Surely you've seen You know, the Kermit the Frog memes. And are you sensitive? Are you a libtard? Are you a snowflake? Are you these things?
See, I feel like most of those memes are making fun of liberals, not young people. You know, and often they're conflated.
Well, the work ones and the motivation ones are not. They are
okay, sure. Where you know we can't write in cursive. Who freaking cares? You can't use Outlook. You know.
I've never drank from a garden hose. Right.
Right. I mean, you can't use Adobe Acrobat without, you know, getting 3 viruses and emailing your social security number to a Nigerian.
You're not being objective, though. No, but come on. You're not being objective. We'll hit the other side too.